What's up, YouTube? This is the Atheist Chef here. I'm making a video in response to G-Man, a YouTube apologist. He did a Google Hangout video with a few atheists and another Christian about, is God morally justified for the flood in the Bible? Now, I really enjoyed it. It was about 2 hours long, and if you got the time, give it a go. A lot of really good points were made by both sides. Well, as an atheist, I'm going to say I believe the atheists had better points, but it was actually very good. I believe you should watch it. But however, I'll even try to link it down below for you as well. I believe, though, there were some points that didn't get made that I really believe should. So I'm going to try and lay these out one by one. With any good debate, you have to have an agreement on terms. If there's not an agreement on terms, then both sides can, throw the same word around back and forth and never really make an agreement on anything. This happened a lot last night with the word moral. The discussion was God moral for flooding the earth? Now atheist, the definition for moral tends to be along the lines of what causes more good, what does not cause harm to others. Christians define morals as their God. They define that God is, He is perfect, He is the moral, He is the ultimate good. It's in His nature. His nature is good. He is all-encompassing good. So He does not do good, He is good. So everything that He does is because He is good. This kind of caused a problem last night, and I think if they're going to have another discussion with it, there needs to be an agreement on terms. As I showed a second ago, Christians define their God as the ultimate good. Everything He does is good and moral because He is good and moral. He is the nature of it. He is the perfect representation of good and moral. But if you ask a Christian where they got that information from, they got it from the Bible. The Bible is the one that tells them this, and they believe it. They're trying to use the Bible to prove that their God is the ultimate good. They have no way of knowing if it is. They just believe that He is. Why? Because He's the ultimate good. Why would He lie? How do you know that? Because the Bible tells me so. You see where I'm going with this? God's definition of moral is not anyone else's definition of moral. Let's have a hypothetical here. Let's say we have a mayor of a city, and he is responsible for a city that is just terrible. Just as crime and rape and murder and homicide, which is the same thing, suicide. It was just a terrible city to live in. No one wants to live there. And the mayor said, you know what, I've had enough. This is a terrible situation. So he goes off and hires a whole bunch of people to build a huge giant wall all the way around the city and makes it where no one can escape. Then he hires a bunch of helicopters to grab water from the ocean, and he just floods the hell out of the city. Now, in that situation, people would think that the mayor was insane. He would call him out for what it was. He was a psychopath for killing thousands upon thousands of people instead of doing any other option but that. Committing mass genocide was not a solution. But if a moral, good God does it, it was done out of love. It was done out of protecting His creation and making sure the earth thrived, or whatever justification you would like to make about that. The point remains the same. If a person did something that was bad, it's bad. But when God does it, it's perfectly okay because His will is greater than ours, and I'm surely it's going to make sense in the end because overall God is a good God. Morality exists only in the natural realm. The supernatural realm, which is where Christians believe that God resides, is in scientifically unobservable, unmeasurable. You can't find the characteristics, you can't define any qualities about it. If you could, then it is no longer supernatural. Therefore, morality can only be defined in the natural realm. That being the case, anything done in the supernatural realm we can't define. We can't say anything about it. Therefore, it is unmeasurable. You can actually measure someone's morals, not through normal numbers, but you can identify what they are. So if you can only identify morals and measure them in the natural realm, then the only way you can define what is moral is in the natural realm. So if God does something in the supernatural realm, it is neither moral or immoral or amoral because we can't define anything about it. We don't have any information on it. But what He does in the natural realm can be measured and can be observed. So if He is not being moral to the natural world standards, or I'm sorry, the universal or any moral standards, if He is being immoral in the natural realm, He is immoral. How can you really know if God is moral? Even if you were to say that, well, when you become saved, He fixes your moral barometer and you can tell what moral is, how do you really know? You almost have to just believe that you're right, that it is moral, but you have no standards to make sure that is correct. He could be lying to you. You have no idea. You're putting your trust into something you don't know. You can say, oh, well, He's not going to lie, He is good. How do you know? Just because the Bible defines Him as good does not mean anything. You have to have faith that the Bible is correct to believe that He is moral and that you are moral because of it. It doesn't add up. The most important reason why I don't believe that God was morally right to flood the people was because He had an other option. What is the other option, you ask? To simply forgive. He could have simply forgiven the people. He could have used His omnipotent abilities to make everything right. He could have gotten rid of the Nephilim. He could have made everyone good. He could have just blinked and everything would have been okay. He could have made come down from earth like He did with Adam in the garden and said, hey guys, you're kind of screwing up here. I'm God, by the way, in case you didn't notice. Can you guys not be evil? Okay, thanks. And then disappeared. He could have done anything else. But no. He chose to send a rush of water to kill millions of people and babies and kids and animals and the plant life and all these people that did not deserve it. At least by our standards. But if you believe God is moral, good, etc., and that just because they were evil, that whatever. There was a better way to do it. If that is not moral, to not kill billions of people, out of sheer, oh, man, these people are messing up, they're not doing what I want them to do, so they deserve to die. That is not moral. That is not merciful. It's not even just. That's just doing what you want. Especially when you know that down the road, people are still going to be evil and then people are still going to be sinning. So you then have to send your son later to do this. It wasn't even justified because it didn't work. It doesn't make sense. He was not morally justified to do it. There is other ways to do it. There is more and more ways to do it. He wasn't justified. But what about free will? God obviously did not have a problem with free will. Because he introduced himself down to Adam. He completely interfered with his life, kicked him out of the Garden of Evil. That interrupted his free will. He destroyed cities. That it ended people's free will. They're willing to live. But I would have to say that ended their free will to live. He stuck with 8 people, chose to put them on a boat to save themselves from the flood. That was free will involvement. He basically said, hey, you're going to die if you don't do this. By the way, you should know it's going to happen. So that's involving interrupting their free will. Free will is not an argument for justifying what he did. He didn't have to kill millions of people because of free will, because of their willingness to not do what he had said. It's not a good argument. In conclusion, I'd have to say that I feel like I've done a pretty adequate job of showing why God was not being moral um, to flood the earth. And my points hopefully will adequately support that. So G-Man, hopefully you sat down and watched this. Or anybody else, all 2 of you that maybe subscribed to my channel by the time this comes out. I am very new to this. This is probably my first response video that I've ever made. I would love to do more. So G-Man, I would love to be able to get some responses from you. I hope you don't find my attitude to be, trolling or anything like that. I would generally like to have, some honest exchanges. This has been a really cool experience, and I hope to be able to do more. And maybe one day, if I'm lucky, I would be able to do like one of those live Google Hangouts. But I don't know. Maybe I'll have time, and however that works. But so I appreciate everybody for watching. I know this was, I don't even have the timestamp anymore on it. But so please write me back, leave comments, suggestions. Tell me I was wrong. Tell me how I was wrong. Leave video replies. I look forward to it. I hope to do more of these. Again, guys, this is the Atheist Chef reminding you that from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So when you fill your heart with a lot of bad information, pretty soon it won't be long that people figure out you're full of something, and it's not wisdom.